Hey everyone, I'm Nathan, this is Sean, and we're Barely Tactical. Have you ever wondered how would it feel to wear something someone else has sweat in for many, many months? Well, we're here to talk about it.
Every day.
Military surplus gear. I got into this about a year ago. Sean's been dipping his toes in it. Let's talk about it.
So, our first question, I guess, is why would you get into surplus gear? And I think there's a plethora of reasons here. You may have high tier autism like us, and no. But honestly, there's so many reasons from LARPing, airsoft, to just collecting, especially, or if you want to wear it every day when you go out shopping so people look at you strange.
Yeah, I've every day some of these, daily drivers. And maybe you're looking for some affordable tack gear, Cry Precision's out of your budget and you don't want to get the stuff made in Wuhan. This could be an option.
Yeah. So the big question is, does it suck?
Does it suck?
Yeah. And to answer that, we're going to go through a few kind of pros and cons with this. First thing with this is cost. Now, with some surplus gear, it is extremely affordable. If you're trying to get UCP out there, it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, different for us because we're Canadian. We get tons of cheap olive drab stuff. In the States, if you want UCP, you can have it. $9 gets you a nice brand new unissued jacket. You can get used stuff free at garage sales. It's everywhere. And there's a spectrum of that, like Woodland and all those kind of variants. We have several examples here, all very affordable. They're obsolescent patterns. No army's currently running them, so they surplus them incredibly cheap.
Mm-hmm. So, again, that's a pro. Also, a con. Cost. Sadly, some of these things are extremely expensive, which kind of goes into their rarity more often than not. Sometimes you'll look at like a piece of Woodland or something like, oh, that looks really nice. But it's something that may have been unissued or something that was a very limited run. Because again, this is surplus. So it's not like they're making more of it in most cases.
Mm-hmm. So a perfect example is, let's take this Italian not Woodland by Mimco, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I got a jacket, a pair of pants, and a hat for $29. Now, Sean, the one right beside that, if you'll lift that up, that is Serbian oak leaf. You could say pretty similar Woodland-based pattern. That was $60. You can say it's the bad guy tax or the fact that less of it was made. Serbia was on a questionable side of the Yugoslav wars, so.
Yourself, you as well.
Most of that stuff got destroyed, and the stuff that is still around, it's triple as expensive, and that got you just a jacket versus a full set.
Historically, I'd like to think of the Italians as also paying the bad guy tax. Rome is the exception, but and like again, or like if like, oh, I would really like some Vietnam tiger stripe or something like that. It's like, okay, might I recommend somebody who makes it now as opposed to trying to get the OG. But I know there's collectors out there who do want to have pieces of history because, again, with surplus really comes into understanding like tech trees and the lines of camouflage. Like, oh, where did this come from? Where did this start? I want to collect the whole set. They're like Pokemon cards, but it's camouflage that makes you look funny. So.
Exactly.
Eyes up here, pal. I see you're checking out my groin armor. The S&J Hardware Level 3A. Groin armor, 1000D Cordura, molly webbing on the front, made in Canada, baby. If you want to get one of these, we have an exclusive promo code for S&J Hardware. NutHugger15 gets you 15% off not only the NutHugger 3000, but all carriers and armor on the website. Check it out.
Kind of moving into the uniqueness of it, a big pro is the uniqueness and the heritage. You weren't in the Battle of Stalingrad, and you can't be, but you can get a great wool coat and pretend you were there. You can get your vintage Mosin ammo pouches, throw on a great coat, walk around the Mosin, and you could pretend you're the enemy at the gate doing the thing. You can get really unique patterns. Like if Sean has mixed opinions, but Alpenflage, I adore it. I understand it's unique. It's probably only useful for about a 3-week window in the fall here in Canada. And it's like peak, like Alpha Sigma male, Giga Chad camo for that window. And then it's almost useless most of the rest of the year.
Okay, this personal thing, because you brought it up. I don't hate it. Just when camouflage only works for a few weeks, I question it. But that's all. It also sounds funny, Alpenflage. I don't know. It's just like
Yeah, but completely unique. You're not going to find very many modern gear sets. You got the cool coyote brown, olive drab, multi and everything. Night multi, all those cool iterations of it. Then you get cool stuff like Alpenflage or digital, like tiger stripe Turkish Air Force. There's blue. There's like a muted gray. There's beige. What's it going to blend you in for? Who knows? But it'll look fun.
Still better than UCP, but it's still a little blue. So if you want to be a blueberry, that's
Exactly.
kind of thing.
And there's even stuff within our lifetime. I'm a byproduct of the '90s.
Yeah.
Chocolate chip will forever be the cool good guys fighting in movies camouflage. Special spot in my heart. Is it the best? Well, the military very promptly decided it was not good and phased it out with its cousin, the three-stripe desert. But you can get cool stuff that's nostalgic, that's fun, gives you all the joy and happiness on the inside. Why the heck not?
If you're the kind of person who likes chocolate chip underneath with a woodland kind of carrier or something, you're our people.
Yeah,
Because
that's a vibe.
yeah, does it work? I don't care.
Did they have to make it work? They absolutely did.
Yeah, it works. So again, that goes to the heritage thing. I mean, even for like historical reenactors or something close to my heart, you're not necessarily getting into surplus per se. If you're like, oh, I want like World War II things, you can, like as you mentioned with like a lot of Russian gear. There's a lot of Russians who fought in World War II. I don't know if you know that, and or getting like Commonwealth webbing and stuff like that. So if you're on the more historical side, that's a plus. Because from personal experience, if you're trying to buy reproductions of things, they can be almost as expensive in some cases for some of these things. So
if you're a LARPer and you want to have that +1 authenticity points to flex on your friends, you can get surplus for that.
Yeah. So another thing is for its pro is high quality. Now this is very nuanced, we'll say, because as you said, we do have very high quality surplus things. I'd like to point out behind me, I have an Osprey carrier, which is from the UK, and it's a few generations out of date. This was unissued. It was only
brand new.
Yeah, it was like $200 or something like that, and it's immaculate. Like it's so well put together. It's the design of it. I really really like it. Like it's good for like if you had a lot of weight on the carrier. Like it's good.
It's the peak of old gen overt carriers, and just to kind of touch on it, came with what, like 12 different pouches, the carrier,
the neck,
all the
shoulder,
add-on pieces. Like it was a full-on battle rattle kit for $200. That's super high quality. Some of these garments, like you can tell they're used, super high quality. They'll probably outlast us. There's a Bianchi mag pouch here. I got this brand new. Once upon a time, all those pistol shooting guys, used to be the Bianchi Cup because they all ran these surplus mag pouches. That's old school, but it's high quality stuff. Competition shooters used it at one point.
We also have another carrier here in my favorite camouflage to say, Vegetato, very Italian, which is also a very nice carrier, very well, but it's a little cheaper material wise, and it was cheaper cost wise too. So like, of course, there's a scale there, and it's a few years newer than this. So to put in perspective, you think, oh, I'm buying a carrier that's like newer, like 2007 versus 2000, it must be better. Not necessarily, because it's all very dependent on what country you're getting it from, who sold it, who wore it before you, if they wore it before you, and at the same time, getting back into that age-old thing of military grade does not mean what you think it means. Yeah. It's the lowest bidder with the highest production. So.
Sometimes like military grade means like great innovation, great quality. And sometimes it means, this shop can make it cheaper than that shop. So we're saving the 5 cents per unit. And, that's a difference of $3 billion on this year's budget.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Your results may vary. Kind of leaning into the cons of things. We touched on cost. There's like the bad guy tax. There's rarity. Even just if it wasn't a rare camo per se, but wasn't surplus to the degree some of these are, like chocolate chip is going up in price because it's so far out of circulation. We're talking 80s to maybe early 90s production. It's 40 years old. You can get tricolor for $15 for the same cut, same shirt, different pattern.
There seems to be a scale of what kind of comes into, we'll say, like the popular meta. If it's just been kind of phased out, it's usually cheap.
It's so plentiful.
It's plentiful, and then it kind of sits there for a bit, and then people have like a nostalgic feel like for chocolate chip. They're like, I like Desert Storm or something like that, and start thinking about that.
Yeah, my uncle might like this. He was there.
Or people watch Black Hawk Down and be like, yeah, I want to look like an Army Ranger from, not chocolate chip, but like, and so then it kind of comes back into it, and then at that point you realize, oh, these have been picked through.
Yeah.
which is actually another con, I will say, sizing. So if you're a regular sized person, and I will put an asterisk on that of like, North American, where like not everybody's 130 pounds, you might have some trouble finding some of the bigger sizes, even extra large, like which I don't think is that big per se, because they've been picked through. Like a lot of people have kind of like, especially when new orders drop in certain stores or on the markets, people are immediately add to cart, I need to get these sizes, and then you're left with the what was the extra long, extra small that we looked at the other day?
Kind of on the sizing topic, it's not typically small, medium, large. It's a very metric. It's like height of soldier, width of soldier, or some kind of combination. You'll find like small width but extra long length, tons of them in stock, and then you look at extra large width, regular length. And that was sold out the moment it hit the shelves. You look at some of these websites and you're clicking through the sizing, and it's all the weird, like they have medium long, which is a popular one for if you're the generic 5'10", 175 pounds, that might be perfect for you. If you're a full calorie man, you're going to have a difficult time finding camo. If it's something more obscure or more rare, if it's a recent meta, like UCP, you'll have a better chance. Something like chocolate chip, you're going to be fighting for your life. I actually talked to the shop owner, and he found this in the back, like mislabeled or something. So he happened to find a long, large, which isn't even that big in the size of, the spectrum of sizes.
Yeah. So that's another thing too, is if you have any experience with trying on, like if you order something from say China on Amazon and it doesn't fit you correctly versus the US and Canadian sizes and all that. Now think about the broad spectrum of countries that are selling these. I think you should go in and you should probably try these on.
If you have the luxury.
Yeah, if you have the luxury to do that. If you're going on the site, please be very mindful of their measure. If you see like, oh, a large, well, I'm a large. I'm like, are you that large? Or are you like, so that's something to consider too. So
there are some saints in the game, Americana Pipe Dream. They are sweethearts. They'll do a US size kind of conversion rate. It is usually pretty close. And if there's a deviance, they'll say, hey, this runs long, this runs wide.
Yeah.
But not everyone's going to do that. I was on a website yesterday. I won't throw the name out. There was no product description. It was literally the military measurement and then a picture of like the item. And it literally said, item may not be as appeared in photo, and no description. So does it run long? Does it run wide? Is it going to be all mangled? It just says surplus. So you don't know.
Yeah. Was that the same place with the balaclava? Or was it a face?
The winter use balaclavas. Right.
Yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind. I know we kind of joked about it. Some of these are dirty. Some of these have been well worn, and that was nice enough to. There was something for $2, and like, oh, you get the whole thing for $2. There's a reason, because homie sweat through it for like months on end. Yeah, and unless you have an industrial machine washer, you want to like bleach it or something like that. Yeah. For instance, you can buy underwear that has been
You can get underwear, you can get undershirts, you can get long johns. I do not want to know what used long johns that were 4,000 uses in.
There are some depths I don't want to, go. Yeah.
Like, I sweat through my own shirt. Buying a shirt someone else sweat in, I could wash it. I feel okay with that. But, I'm not going to get in someone else's undies.
Yeah, hey, can I borrow your undies? I don't even want to lend them out. So, no,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, overall, does surplus suck? I guess is the big question.
Personally, I don't think it does, as long as you're mindful about what you're getting. Bonus points if you can get it in person, because you can get incredible value. You can get very cool stuff, but you could also, on the other end, get some kind of shisty things.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it doesn't suck. What are your thoughts, Sean?
I'm also going to say it doesn't suck, but the way that it does suck is if you don't do your research, or if you go in thinking this is just, I'm going to American Eagle or something like that. It's not that. This isn't just regular kind of, shopping, like, oh, grab this off the rack. It's something you have to actually put some thought into. You have to look into, because if you just order blindly, you're probably going to be upset. You're going to be disappointed. Things aren't going to fit, or it's not going to be what you want. You're like, oh, what? It didn't look like in the picture. It's like, well, it said that. So.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a wild card. Like, for an example, we have some Romanian, one of their woodland patterns. It's an okay shirt, but there's kind of threads pulling from it. It's not in great shape. And then on the inverse, Romanian, that's their alternate woodland pattern. This is their winter wear, wool lined. This thing is insanely warm, insanely high quality. Like, you can go snowmobiling and these and be totally fine. Made by the same country. That's like a 3 out of 10. That's like a 15 out of 10. So hop on Reddit, hop on YouTube. And you know what? If you guys like the idea of surplus gear in this channel, maybe we'll review some of it. So comment, let us know what you think. And that could be something we run with.
Same goes with camouflage. We're really getting into different camo patterns and like the tech trees, and you kind of see where camouflage has started. If that's something that interests you as well, let us know, because we're kind of thinking of that as well. As you can see, we've got a decent spread here of, and this isn't even everything. So
yeah, courtesy of my credit card.
yeah,
but you get them to abuse them, right? It's free money.
No, just for you. But yeah, so. That's it. I don't think they suck, and I think they're okay.
In the meanwhile, like, subscribe, and keep your sights fixed. I'm Barely Tactical.